There's a changing of the guard in the Southeastern Conference. Ed Orgeron is now the top football coach in the conference. But he might not be the top personality anymore, because Mike Leach has gone to Starkville. Hi everybody, I'm Marky Bilson, and I want to invite you, by the way, to like my YouTube channel. We have 31 subscribers, and of course trying to build that up, and of course we archive where it's easier to get to YouTube videos that I make here, first on Facebook and then archive them on YouTube. So if you miss it on Facebook, you can watch it on YouTube. Okay, let's talk about the football coaches of the Southeastern Conference. Ed Orgeron just signed a 6-year extension. He's going to be making $7 million a year at LSU. The Tigers, therefore, will be paying about $7 million a year. He is worth it, if football coaches are worth that. A top 5 paid coach in college football. Why shouldn't he be? He's just won the national championship. Okay, he's gruff. And because he's gruff, people kind of think, is this guy on the ball and all this? Yes, he is. And the thing about him is that if you look through the Southeastern Conference football coaches, at least prior to 2020, Ed Orgeron was the personality. And don't discount that as a reason why LSU won the national championship. Look, it's all about recruiting. Now, Louisiana puts out a fair amount of players into the NFL. In fact, they've got more than Alabama does. And if you are the coach of the Crimson Tide, or for that matter, Auburn, you've got to fight for those players in Alabama against your rivals, let alone, let's say, depth with UAB or USA or Samford or someone like that. Okay, but that personality is why Ed Orgeron wins. It is funny. Yes, it's gruff, but it's likable, and it's someone you want to play for. Compare that to Nick Saban. Yeah, maybe he's got the better program historically, but not by that much. And stepping over Geno Jones, that famous quote, winning that national title cost us a week of recruiting. There's a guy with his priorities in order. Saban isn't getting any younger. He's going towards 70. And you remember what happened to Steve Spurrier, how that was used against him in recruiting. Well, Saban is saying, oh, yes, I will coach forever. So is Steve Spurrier at the time. And so Ed Orgeron is now the #1 coach in the SEC, and that's why he won the national championship. That's how he's able to get Joe Burrow in from Ohio State. That's why he'll continue to win, even though his coordinators have gone on to become head coaches at Baylor and a assistant coach in the NFL with the Carolina Panthers. But now there is a legitimate challenge for best personality in the SEC. And again, when you're talking about recruiting, and basically the SEC, now that Steve Spurrier isn't there anymore, it's become Dullsville as terms of coaches. I mean, last year probably Derek Mason at Vanderbilt had the second best personality, if you really want to get to it. And although I think Mason has done a respectable job at Vandy, and all that. But now here comes Mike Leach, the passing guru. Let me give you a stat. He's at Washington State, not the easiest place in the world to win. They've got the second smallest football stadium in all of Power 5. Now, historically, they've been able to put some good quarterbacks into the NFL. Tim Rosenbach, Drew Bledsoe, Ryan Leaf. Well, he was the #2 pick in the draft. But they've had good quarterbacks over the years at Washington State, just like Garner Minshew now with the Jacksonville Jaguars. But Mike Leach won 43 games with the Cougars since 2015. That's not the easiest place in the world to win. Gus Malzahn at Auburn won 42 games since 2015. And you know something, you can win at Mississippi State. Heck, as recently as 2014, they were ranked #1 in the country. Dak Prescott now has a foundation in which Mike Leach can say, yeah, you can play quarterback at MSU and you're going to win. And frankly, his pickup of a grad transfer from Alabama, Scott Lashy, right tackle, didn't play much at Alabama, but it speaks kind of like Brandon Kennedy, who transferred as a grad transfer from Alabama to Tennessee. And this past year, Kennedy was a real stalwart at center for the offensive line of the Tennessee Volunteers, helping them go 8-5. I see similar triumphs, similar advances with Lashy, who's 6'7", weighs more than 300 pounds, and was highly regarded in college, just didn't play at Alabama because they're so deep. I see the same thing going on at Mississippi State. And let's face facts. If you are now Mike Leach trying to recruit quarterbacks, not only do you now have your reputation, but you also now are saying, hey, look, I'm building the line. See what I'm doing right here? I will say this. Ole Miss made some splashes by hiring Lane Kiffin as a head coach. Overrated. Ole Miss has been in the top 5 before. They were, I believe, around 2009. In fact, they were in the top 5. They were 5 years later and such. Of course, with now recently departed Eli Manning from the NFL, not from Ole Miss, from the NFL recently departed. Manning took the Rebels to the Cotton Bowl, but yeah, Ole Miss is one of those 4 teams that has never won the division in the SEC. It's been a long time since the Johnny Vaught days, but yeah, they have proven they can be in the top 5. But here's the deal. Mississippi State was number 1 when Ole Miss was number 4. And Lane Kiffin has never really done anything outstanding in his head coaching career. Oh, here's my pretty wife. Oh, Al Davis doesn't like me. Oh, the Tennessee Volunteers don't like me. But it's easier to win 11 games at Florida Atlantic than it is at Washington State. Leach won 11 games in Pullman. And he did it against a much tougher schedule. And he's putting quarterbacks into the NFL. Mississippi State will be the better team in the Magnolia State from heretofore. And you know what else? Personality. Yeah, you're going to want to play for Mike Leach just like you want to play for Ed Orgeron. You want to play for Alabama. You don't necessarily want to play for Nick Saban. And there are a lot of other coach dulls in the SEC. You can win at Mississippi State. It might not be the best program. It's not Florida. It's not Alabama. But you know what? You can win 10 games there, and Mike Leach will. I'm Marky Bilson.